Alright guys, this is a video. It's not going to be a long one, but it's going to be long enough. It's going to be informative, and basically, like, the title of this one is, basically, I ignored my diabetes for 12 years, and here's what made me finally stop ignoring it, when, for those 12 years, it was over 12 years, but basically, for those 12 years, I was just, I was always around, literally 300, 400, 500. I was tired. I was constantly looking for fluid like I was a camel, seriously. I used to get up 4 or 5 times a night to go to the bathroom. And my weight was up to, almost 300 pounds at the time. And, like, here's the unfortunate part. When I was diagnosed with the diabetes, it wasn't a totally different time frame. My wife was also diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I'm going to be honest, if I'm put in that position where I can take care of myself or I can take care of my wife, every single time the answer doesn't change, I am always going to take care of my wife first, and that's what I did for 8 years. Now, she passed in 2016, and after that, I just wasn't a focus. My diabetes, that was the farthest thing from my mind. I'd met this woman in 10th grade. We had been together for 23, 24 years at the time. Here I am, 40 years old, and the person that I spent the majority of my life with, longer than my kids, is gone. And that was crushing. At that point, I didn't care about the diabetes at that point. And through the years, I've been to doctors, and I've been on medicine. I've been on metformin, I've been on glipizide, I've been on insulin. I've been on insulin from different doctors, And recently, it was I'd say probably about 10 weeks ago. Yeah, it was about 10 weeks ago. I was at work, and I had numbness in the left side of my face. So, oh man, this story's So I went to the emergency room from work, and they said, I'd had a stroke in the past, and they're like, look, we want to keep you just to watch you. I'm like, okay, fine. So they take me upstairs, and the doctor comes in and says, do you know your sugar's 500? And I'm like, no. And I won't go fully through this because I have went through it so many times. But he said, well, yeah, your sugar's 500, your A1C is 13. And I'm like, what? So they find out that it's the numbness in my face and the pain was caused by trigeminal neuralgia, which is a whole new thing. So I leave the hospital, and a few days later, I go see my doctor, and she looks at my records, and she's not happy with me because, I'll be honest, I thought I was doing better at the time. My A1C was 13. So, like, it was higher than last visit, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm at a loss. So she's like, all right, you're at a loss. Let's get unlost. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? She said, here's a sample. I'm going to prescribe this for you. I look, it's this little box that says Freestyle Libre. I'm like, what is this? She's like, these are those little sensors that go in your arm and continuously tell you your blood sugar. And I'm like, oh, I know people that have that. I don't want that. I will obsess over my numbers. And she looked at me and said, your numbers are 500. I think you're at the point where you need to obsess over your numbers. And I was like, fair point. Because the thing was, if I felt bad at 500, that would make sense. But 500, when I was at 500, that was my normal feeling, So she gives me that, and she says, I also want to start you on Mounjaro. And I'm like, well, I don't want the shot. I don't think I need that. She's like, your A1C is 13. You need it. I'm like, I only weigh 200 pounds. She was like, it isn't just for weight loss. you have to get your A1C down because you're destroying your body. I'm like, okay. So I stop at the pharmacy on my way home, grab the shot, take it home, throw it on the table. That was like a Monday, and I forgot about it. Finally, on a Thursday, I look at the sensor, and I'm like, let me give this a try. So I put in my arm, and it gives you an hour countdown when you put a new sensor in. So I was like, this countdown was like waiting for a rocket to take off or something, you know? So I'm like, all right, cool. And it's like 50 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm like, oh man. Finally it pops open. It tells me my blood sugar is 350. I'm like, oh shit. So I go take my insulin, go to bed. Wake up Friday, which was March 13th, Friday the 13th. And I look at my sugar, and it's like 280, 290. At that point, I'm realizing, yeah, I'm not doing good. So, first thing I thought was maybe my insulin had frozen. So I'm like, okay, maybe my insulin froze. I'll use new insulin tonight. So that night, I decide, you know what? Changes. I'm going to start the shot tonight. The second thing I did, I got new insulin. And the third thing I did was, I'm done with carbs. I'm stopping them. And it wasn't I'm never going to have carbs again. It was more of I'm not going to have carbs today. If I wake up tomorrow and I have to absolutely have carbs, then I'll have them. But I'm not going to do it today. Because that frame of mind is what helped me stop smoking cold turkey. And, you know, all the other things in my life. So I wake up Saturday morning and my sugar's like 130, 140. And I'm like, whoa, wait. I'm panicking because I'm not used to it being that low. So we're sitting around the house and I'm waiting. I know my sugar's going to go up any minute. And I'm like, I guess it was my insulin because it's working now. So Saturday night comes and I'm like, okay, what do I do? It's still only like 120. I'm scared to take my insulin because I don't want to crash in 6 hours when my insulin starts working. So I'm like, I'm going to skip my insulin. I know I can be higher without, you know, having a problem. I don't know how much lower I can go without having a problem. So Sunday I wake up knowing my sugar is going to be out of control, and it isn't. I'm waiting all day for the other shoe to drop, and it doesn't. So I'm like, okay, we got to see the doctor. So that Monday I go into the doctor and I show her my stuff, and she's like, I've never seen a change this fast. And I'm like, I don't think it was just a Mounjaro. I think it was literally me changing my diet. I told her about changing over to the newer insulin. She's like, well, first of all, about the insulin, don't take it anymore. And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, don't take the insulin. I'm like, okay, so you're saying if my numbers are good, don't take it, but if it goes up to like 250 or 300, should I take it? And she's like, no, I'm saying you shouldn't take it at all. I'm like, okay. She's like, throw it out. You're done with it. And I'm like, okay. She said, something changes. We can prescribe you new insulin. But you are not to be taking 35 units of Lantus anymore. I said, okay. That's what we're going to do. So as the weeks went by, my numbers kept getting better and better. My GMI, which is glucose management indicator, it's like an A1C, but it's not your A1C. So my GMI over 30 days was like 5.9, which is like, I was 13 in the hospital. I'm down to 5.9. And everybody has screamed at me, you can't drop that fast. That's going to give you neuropathy, and You know what? First of all, everything I did was directed by my doctor, first and foremost. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to take their word over a Reddit forum or a, YouTube forum. And I love you guys because most guys are encouraging, and I love that. But you always have the ones that want to scream at me, want to report my post. Even though I say, look, this isn't medical advice. This is just my story. This is what literally changed my life. Don't ever do anything without talking to your doctor. So a couple weeks ago I decided, it's been like 6 weeks without a single piece of bread. We were having hamburgers for dinner, so I said, I'm going to try to eat a bun. I just want to see what the carbs do to me. Because before it would have shot me up to 300-400, and I literally would have been there for hours until I either took my insulin or, something. So I eat the bun. Within an hour, my sugar hits like 201. And I'm panicking. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, why would I do that? It was working. And within the next 30 minutes, my sugar went back down to 81. And for the first time, I saw my body do what it was supposed to do, I couldn't believe it. It went up like it does when you have carbs, and it came back down. And I'm like, okay, it's just crazy, but it seems like my body's working again now. I didn't take that as an opportunity to say, all right, I can eat buns again, sweet. No, I took that as an opportunity to say, what I'm doing is working. I'm going to continue to do it. And, now my daily sugars, or my average daily blood sugar level, is like 95 to 115. That's every day. My GMI is 5.9. I went from 200 pounds down to 175 pounds. The first time my doctor bumped up my Mounjaro, I said I really didn't want to, and she kind of said, well, we put the prescription in already, let's try it. I didn't get sick, but we agreed, because here's the thing, I don't want to fight with my doctor. My life is in their hands. I want to have a good relationship. So I treat them with respect, and I talk to them. Do I believe in the medical industry? I think they try their best. I think a lot of the industries are overruled by systems, pharmaceutical companies. You look at what they spent last year globally trying to manage diabetes and its complications, which are it was like heart attack, stroke. The 5 biggest complications were like heart attack, stroke, kidney disease, neuropathy, amputation, and I think there's like one other thing, or 5 things. But last year they spent globally $3.5 trillion to manage diabetes and its complications. So, I don't always agree with every doctor. I would be totally off medicine if I could. But that's why the doctor went to school for all those years. And she told me, at 5, if you're stable, we don't have to go up. She said, if your numbers literally get to the point and you keep eating this way, we can start going down. And I'm like, deal. So I'm looking to try to get off of my Mounjaro. I've gotten off of insulin. I'm only at 0.5. That's only the second highest dose. Think about that. The second highest dose of Mounjaro. And 8 months ago, my sugar was 500. My A1C was 13. I know people that had an A1C of 8 or 9, and they're now on 7.5 or 0.75, however it works, of Mounjaro, and they're still going up. So there was something, somehow in there I cracked the code, you know? And then that brings us to our program, Systems Over Symptoms. Why? A lot of people say, why did I build this? You know why I built this? Because nobody should have to suffer for 12 years to get their diabetes under control. Nobody. Like I said, no medical advice. And this is all solely my journey. You know, and you need to talk to your doctor before you make any decisions. But I built this because I think everybody deserves a chance at this life I'm living right now. I'm out here happy for the first time in years. I was diagnosed with, years ago, major depressive disorder and general anxiety disorder. And literally, I walk around with a smile on my face every single day now. And I have swiveled my life from being that machinist to exploring how I can spend my life helping people take this horrible disease and minimize the impact as much as I can. You know, that is why I built the system. And the system is what? 10, somebody was freaking out down there, jeez. The system is 10 modules. 10 modules. There's over like 50 lessons. You'll get introduced to the video lessons from me, which are similar format to this right here. There are written lessons. You'll get introduced to my buddy Lance. That's my mascot. He'll set you straight on a whole bunch of things. There are PDFs. There's worksheets. You know, there's a lot of work to be done. And we take you through it step by step. So if you wanna check the system out, like I said, it's on school. We don't have a complicated type of entry. There's no credit cards needed. You sign up. Module 1 is free. You can try it out, read it, look at it as long as you want, participate in the community. We will be having, once we get some people loaded in there, we'll be having, you know, weekly Zoom calls. We'll be having label readings. We'll be having all kinds of live events. Because that's what a community is. It isn't, here's the information, read it, you know? A community is people working together to solve a problem. And that's what Systems Over Symptoms is. So go ahead and, you know, stop by the site. It's www.dropinsulin.com. There's a few things you can do there. You can check out my journey. I have a little calendar, and it has every single day. It has my screenshot from my sugar reading machine, so you can see my numbers in real time. It has the curriculum page, which shows what every module contains. It shows everything. It's all live. It shows, you know, the food. A lot of people think, oh, diabetes, here we go. I eat crab legs, I eat wings, I eat steak. Salads with half of a frickin' rotisserie chicken and, you know, a quart of a bottle of ranch on it. And none of that really moves my sugar. Now, it might be different for you, but most of this stuff is great to eat. Cheese, everything. And, you know, it just has my journey. Now, on the home page, there are 3 important buttons I want you to check out. There's a button to join the school, and it'll take you to the school. And then there are 2 buttons that are really important. One is a PDF. It's to download a PDF file. It'll get, I believe, it gets sent straight to your inbox when you sign up for it. And it will help you start changing your numbers today. This isn't something you have to prepare for weeks for. This PDF will start giving you things you can literally do. You can print it out and start following right now. Because I want to affect lives, and that's how we do it. We don't say, here's a PDF. If you start doing this, and, you know, in another 6 months, you're going to start seeing your numbers go down. No, this is stuff you can change right away. And the third button is for a discovery call. If you have questions, you want to talk over something, you can sign up there, pick a time that's convenient for you, and we could jump on Zoom, or I believe actually it's Google Meet. We can jump on there and have a 15-minute call. There's no charge, nothing. So stop by the site, www.dropinsulin.com, and, you know, take that first step. Take that first step into taking accountability and changing your life. We can all help each other get to the end goal, and it's better to start today than tomorrow. I'll see you guys.